Boxing King Media. We're delighted to join by Jordan Gill with a fresh trim. Jordan, how you doing?
I'm good, yeah, in good spirits.
In Nottingham today, I'm supporting your boy Leigh. Massive fight for him. You know what I mean? It's 50-50 on paper. How do you see that fight going?
I think it's a great fight. It's a fight that everyone's looking forward to. It's a fight that Leigh's looking forward to. I'm sure Conlan as well. They both seem uber confident, and it's a fight where it's everyone's opinion is so split. I think the Conlan fans are so pro Conlan, and the fact that they can't even see Leigh winning, and vice versa really. But I think it's a very good fight. I've said to Leigh, Conlan's a good fighter. He knows he's a good fighter. You don't get to fight for a world title unless you're a good fighter. But I think it's going to come down to the later rounds. It's going to be, who can be more efficient and who can get their tactics off in the later rounds. I see Leigh stopping him late on, to be honest, and I'm looking forward to the fight.
Am I right in saying you was very close to fighting Conlan yourself a little while ago?
No, I think for the TJ Dehaney fight, they messed about with a weight or something. The fight was made at Super Bantam first off, and then I think fight week they dropped it on TJ Dehaney to say, "Oh no, the fight's at featherweight," and he didn't know anything about it, which is a bit of a sneaky move, I thought. And so TJ Dehaney basically said, "Well, we're pulling out of the fight." So they was desperate to find somebody in the WBA rankings to get a fight for the interim title. So I think the fight was on the Friday, and they rang on the Tuesday to see if I'd be up for the fight. And I was training, but I weren't in fighting shape. Or I had my own fight coming up anyway. So that's the only time that fight's ever been mentioned to me. But I'm sure maybe it'll happen down the line.
And what's it like looking back? You and Leigh, from the Ingle days, looking back now 8-9 years ago, and now he's here, fighting in the arena. You've got a big fight coming up on the 27th of March, I believe. What's it like looking back? Did you ever think you'd get to this point in your careers?
Did you know what? You always think, we're going to be world champions. We're going to dominate the division like the Klitschko brothers and stuff like that. I mean, but it always seems so far away, and you take step by step. And I remember obviously staying with Leigh for the week of his debut, and it feels like yesterday to me. And situations like this where he's defending his world title, against an Olympian, or it's on the biggest stage ever, and at the time you don't think about you don't think it's not out of reach, but you don't feel close to it, and before you know it you're here. So it's really pleasing for me to be in the position I am, to be fighting for the European title, to have one of my best friends in Leigh Wood, who's been where I have, come up the hard way like we both have, stayed in dumps, been poor, been struggling all the way through, to get to this stage where he's at the highest level is nice to see.
And I've got to ask you about Derek Chisora. I know Dave's against the fight potentially against Wilder. Eddie's talking it up. What's your views on that?
Yeah, I don't know whether it's going to materialise or not. I don't know whether it's a fight I don't know whether they're just using Wilder's name to get a bit more hype and stuff. But I don't know. I think Derek Chisora is a handful for anyone. But do I want to see him fight Wilder? Not really. I'd like to see him in an easier fight, a fight with somebody who's not, an absolute killer like Wilder. I feel like he deserves an easier one. Chisora, he's always entertaining for the fans. Let's face it, we don't want to tune into Derek to watch him get knocked out, or being in a fight where he's really up against it. You tune in to see his personality. You want to see the eagles and the ring walk, and you want to, you just want to see his personality. You want to see him bang his chest on the way back to the corner, and being good fights, competitive fights.
And a word on your own career. You're fighting on the 27th. I know last time out you were unlucky with a cut. What you got lined up?
27th of February on the Okoli Sislak undercard. I'm going to be fighting Karim Gurfi for the European title. So big fight for me, massive fight, biggest fight of my career. Looking forward to it. It's a good fight, and hopefully I do the business and become European champion, and then we can move on and push on with a career.
Awesome. I'm gonna have to put you in the spot. I should have asked you earlier. Obviously, two former gym mates of yours, Kid Galahad, Leigh Wood. Obviously, the tables are slightly turned. Obviously, Barry's going to be fighting on this undercard. If that fight does happen in the future, and if both will win in the future fights, how do you see that potentially going?
Yeah, it's hard because, like you said, the tables have turned so quickly. If you'd asked me when Barry was IBF world champion, Leigh was just won the world title against Kanzu, you'd say, oh, it's 50-50, you don't know. But I would have favoured Leigh. But at the same time now, you look at Galahad and he's just been knocked out in the fashion that he has, and you think if Leigh hit him the way that Kiko Martinez hit him, he'd really know about it. So I think it's all hypothetical anyway, because I think Galahad's moving up to super feather from what I've heard, and I think he'll be a force for super feather. I think that weight will really suit him, and I think he'll push on and probably win a world title at super feather as well.
Cheers, Jordan. All the best on the 27th. Thank you.